I feel like that's another like really cool thing with Hear Your Song, the like peer songwriting group that you guys have like put together and stuff. So the most recent one we did a Zoom call, and it was just me and her name is Charlotte. She wrote Heartbreaking Healing. And so we actually exchanged numbers, and we've been like texting and are talking about writing the song together and stuff. And so it's just really fun to connect. And then
it's the On Stage podcast with Chris Ruppert. Hello, welcome to another podcast. This is an amazing podcast. Not one song has ever affected me more than a song we're actually going to play later during the podcast. 3 members Hear Your Song. Jake Gluckman, and we have Dan Rubins. And this is going to be a fun-filled, because this is quite a group of people. I've been to their YouTube channel, listened to all the songs. It's just amazing. It just blows my mind. And when we listen to that song, Reasons, I just can't contain myself. It's such a powerful song. So let's introduce him first. Here he is. His name is Dan Rubins from Hear Your Song. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Chris. Thanks so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
You're very welcome. Nice to meet you. So, Dan, did you want to tell me a backstory of who you are? Who is Dan Rubins?
Yeah, so I am a musician. I'm a composer and songwriter, and I'm also I have a background as an elementary school teacher. And Hear Your Song, which is the organization that I co-founded, is really sort of the melding of those two worlds, music and teaching. Hear Your Song works with kids with serious illnesses and complex health needs to make their voices heard through collaborative songwriting. So we're helping kids with a wide variety of diagnoses, both mental health and physical health, to tell their stories however they want to be told. And that's really what, for me, is like the heart of what I'm most passionate about in the world, is helping young people tell their stories in any setting. And the tool for me to do that is through music. So I'm really excited to share more with you about that tonight.
So how did you end up meeting our next guest, Jake Gluckman?
So Hear Your Song began as a student organization at Yale University in 2014. My co-founder, Rebecca Brudner, and I began it really as an opportunity to bring musicians together on campus to work with kids who are pediatric patients at Yale New Haven Children's Hospital and other local communities, to help them write their own songs. And so Jake, who served as our first ever programs fellow this past year full-time, began as an undergraduate volunteer and then joined our team last summer, and is now off to great things that he'll tell you about while continuing to volunteer and stay engaged with all of our kids.
The elementary school teacher, wow. When they discovered that this is something that you had started, what was their reaction?
Well, I actually did share a number of songs with them from the time that I had been in college, sort of as an example of something that was really important to me, to sort of share something that's meaningful. And I actually began expanding Hear Your Song when I was still teaching 4th grade, before I told my students that I was making the decision to leave teaching and do this full time. And I got some really sort of beautiful messages from kids who were like, I had got one email from a student who said, like, you've been really important to me and we needed you so much this year, but there are these other kids who need you more, and we're so excited that you're going off to work with them. And that was from like a 10-year-old. So that was sort of an incredibly meaningful message, and sort of like affirmed the decision that I was making then. So yeah, that's a great question.
What do you think would hit you more, the music or the lyrics? Like, is every song you hear different and every song you write?
So the way that our process works is we first usually start off helping kids. We describe it as a kid-driven process, so we're supporting kids in writing the words first, usually, and then sort of kids are as involved in the music as they want to be. So Faith, whose song You Were So Moved By, wrote every note of the melody, as you heard she sang it too, and the accompaniment she created as well. So that was a case where that sort of all came together at the same time. And sometimes we have kids who are just writing the lyrics, and then we're matching them with composers like Jake and others who are sort of bringing their songs to life. I would say there's sort of waves of impact sort of in the initial session. Hearing kids generate lyrics is so incredible and so humbling. Often Jake can talk about that experience too. But I think sometimes hearing the way that other musicians, our volunteer community, are sort of responding to those lyrics and sort of melding their artistry with what kids have created, and then sort of seeing that give and take in the collaboration is equally impactful. So sort of every stage of the process has a lot of impact for me, and definitely I feel that when you listen to someone's words powerfully enough and clearly enough to be able to bring your own music to match theirs and sort of interweave with their ideas. There's sort of like nothing more powerful than letting someone know that you've heard them enough to sort of bring your own art into theirs. So yeah, the whole process for me is pretty impactful to be a witness to.
And I know that you've arrived when you have your own pillow with your company name on it.
We have made it now. That actually my cousin who designed. I'll move it. You can't quite see the treble clefs there holding hands. My cousin had designed the logo originally when we were a college student organization. She's a really great visual artist. And then she made that pillow for me last year once we sort of had upgraded our logo for the website. She created that. So great to have in the background as an advertisement and a testimony to that original design.
All the children that have written these songs, I listen to them all. I'm like, I really, really love the lyrics. And you listen to the lyrics and it knows that there's some experience they've been through. So why don't we bring on Jake?
Hello.
So tell us your backstory and how did you used to work for Hear Your Song, but now you kind of volunteer? Like, what happened there?
Yeah. So so I graduated from Yale in May 2021, which is where Hear Your Song was founded as a student organization. And so when I was an undergrad, Hear Your Song had been, I guess, a couple years old at that point, and still was just a student organization. And I volunteered as a composer for a couple songs. And I sort of was immediately amazed by the mission of the organization and how I got the chance to collaborate with other musicians and help bring these incredible lyrics to life. And then during my senior year, I was talking to Dan about some songs that we were working on, and we came across this fellowship that the Yale Glee Club Associates supports at Yale, and it is a service through music fellowship. So people who have been awarded in the past have gone on and done many different service projects through music, whether it be helping choirs in New Haven or otherwise. And so we sort of thought Hear Your Song would be a great project to apply with for the fellowship. And at that point, I was kind of looking for something to do after college, and I thought it would be the perfect way to combine what I loved doing with Hear Your Song and my, at that point, budding interest in pursuing medicine. So I was very fortunate to be awarded the fellowship to work for Hear Your Song for 10 months after I graduated. And it was such an incredible experience. Every day, every week, every month was just filled with such exciting new projects, meeting new kids, working with new volunteers. And I just absolutely loved it. And so now, after my fellowship ended at the end of April, and I am now at Bryn Mawr College's pre-med post-bac program because I wasn't a pre-med in college. So now I'm doing this 1-year condensed pre-med track. So though I have left Hear Your Song in an official capacity, I'm very excited to continue as a volunteer and as a super fan from the side.
Do you mind me asking how many people are actually volunteering and how many people actually work for Hear Your Song, Dan?
Yeah. So this summer is sort of our biggest staff team. We have, starting as of next week, we're going to have 5 folks working. This summer, besides me, we have an amazing music director, Sophia, who sort of is in charge of getting every song from the kids' initial vision to our finished musical product. And then we have 2 summer interns who are wonderful, one of whom is the leading our Arizona State University chapter. We have 6 undergraduate chapters, including our Yale chapter, that are student-run, where they're working with their local communities and building their own communities of musicians. And then we also have a new programs fellow who's taking Jake's spot, also fully funded by the Glee Club Associates, which is amazing, who's starting later this week. So, and in addition to that, we have about, Jake might actually know these numbers better than I did, at least to the end of April. We have about 80 folks who are trained to lead sessions with kids. And then we also have now nearing probably in the close to 300 range of musicians, composers, lyric video producers, songwriters who are working on the songs, maybe not working directly with the kids at every step of the process, but are lending their own talents to sort of match every kid's vision. So if a kid says, I want a tuba in my song, we have a tuba player ready to go to bring that vision to life.
How long do you think, did you know Jake before? Did you meet him and hear your song, or?
That's a good question. We both have been musical theater composers in the past, so we had been connected by people who bridged our time, and we didn't overlap in college, but we had known each other very loosely. And then when Hear Your Song began expanding, which was really at the start of the pandemic, when up to that point it had just been a Yale-focused organization, and as my co-founder and I were sort of getting to know the current Yale students, Jake got super engaged right away in composing as we were building these national partnerships. So, and then leading sessions. So I got to know him quite well, sort of leading up to that. But yeah, we didn't know each other particularly well before the Hear Your Song stuff took off.
Dan, what did you do before?
Yeah, so I taught elementary school for 2 years into the pandemic first spring. And then before that, I was doing a master's in Shakespeare studies for a year in London, actually, which doesn't, so far no one's written a song about Shakespeare, but I'm ready when they are. So my background was mainly in teaching, but especially a lot lately as we have been able to really start building communities. Faith can, when she joins us, can talk more about sort of the peer songwriting groups that we're creating and ways that kids are getting to meet each other across our partnerships and be mentors to one another and really support each other. I definitely feel like a lot of my classroom teaching background is sort of getting to take root again in the programs that we're creating.
So when you actually write a song, do you write the lyrics first or do you write the music first? Because I've talked to several musicians, and it's either they write the melody and then add lyrics, or they take lyrics and they add the melody. What's your choice?
Personally, Jake, do you want to answer that for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I sort of do both at the same time.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Answer.
No, that's my answer. So
I sort of feel like I sort of feel out the melody on a piano or guitar, and then I kind of sing along with it and write down whatever feels the most true.
I guess I would have sort of an opposite answer in that I first would sing the lyrics with a melody and then go to the piano and sort of figure out the accompaniment for that. So slight vary, I guess.
Yeah. Let's look at
instrument variations
doing it like that, but
yeah. But I think one of the things that we love about Hear Your Song sessions is that with kids, we usually start off with generating lyric ideas, but we're also sort of ready at any point to sort of pivot to music creation. So sometimes kids will want to start off by listening to a song they really love, so we're getting a musical sense. I was just leading a session with Sophia, our music director in Brooklyn on Friday, where we had a kid who wasn't quite sure of what he wanted the song to be about, but he had a lot of techno songs he loves to listen to. So we started by listening to the techno music and then sort of work backwards from what could a song that sounds like this actually be about? If the song that you love doesn't have words to it, what could a song in this musical genre make you think of? Where could that imagination take you? So lots of different ways in.
I mean, you have Erin, Justin, Sahil, and Scott's song, the food song. You have E's song, Tatiana's song, Sahil's song. They actually, I like the guy who writes about his trip with his parents.
Oh, yes, Christopher, yeah. Actually, then it's funny because I think that's a good example of families we've stayed in touch with. His mom actually, I think a week ago, texted me photos from the hiking trip they were taking, and she was like, I thought you'd love to see this. She's like, luckily, no disasters, but he did get lots of bug bites because he wrote all of this in his hiking journey song over a year ago. And it's amazing that we're still sort of building on those relationships and that the ways that we've gotten to be part of families' lives, not just in sort of the illness journeys that they might be taking but also just in the hiking journey, the literal hiking journeys they might be taking, and in their love of pasta and all the parts of their lives that we've gotten to learn about that a lot of people might not get to learn about.
Holland's song was very powerful. Elliot's song, Invincible. Oh, and Positive. Oh my God. If you think Face Song, I can't even, like I said, I listened to her song 10 times. And that one line where she said at the end, where if you can, she asks God to take that pain away, and the way she says it in this kind of like this sadness. So I just break up, and I try to get through that part, and I can't. We have such a powerful song because I believe that God had helped her write that, because I'm also a strong believer in Christ as well. And but when I heard that you hear your song is from children with different backgrounds and different illnesses that write their own songs and their experiences. I remember I wrote 4 songs when I was young. And I wrote a song about Army veterans who are currently passed away. Listen to these ones, I guess, and you helping them write these songs. I am strong. The little girl says, I am strong. And then the lady goes, I am strong. I heard that last night too. These are pretty powerful songs. They should
that song that you just referenced, Violet's song called I Am, was an incredible session. And I've written a lot about it in various contexts where, because what happened in that session was she decided, this 9-year-old girl, Violet, who's amazing, she wrote one song about gerbils first. And then she wanted to write this song about using these self-affirmations that you just listed. I am strong, I am beautiful, I am powerful. And then we had Tally, who is one of the leaders of our Smith College chapter. And the way that Violet wanted to frame the song was that she would sing a phrase and then Tally would echo it. And to me, that resonates so beautifully because it's almost like hearing an older version of like herself reassuring herself from the future. Like, you are strong, you are beautiful, you are hilarious. I don't know, you're funny, you're kind. Sassy is one of them. So to me, that was sort of this like metaphorical piece that she had created that wasn't just the words and wasn't just the melody, but because of the collaboration had this sort of other level of meaning and meaningfulness. And we were able to talk to her many months later and sort of hear the adjectives she had added on in her affirmations, which was really beautiful.
Let me ask you each the same question. Starting with Jake. Jake, who was the very first person that you collaborated with? Did you ever have a collaboration with any, like, I think I heard that you were, was it you, Dan, that, you were in Broadway, right, Jake?
Like writing musicals? Yeah. I think, sorry, just clarify, like the first person I ever wrote.
Yeah, the very first person you ever sang with, yeah.
Oh, ever sang with? Oh boy. I mean, I like to think that the first person I ever sang with, the first ever show I was in was in 5th grade. I was in a production of High School Musical, and it was a bunch of people. We were all performing together. It was the first time I ever really performed in a musical on stage, and that sort of introduced me to the power of like performing on stage with people. But the more, I think, salient example that I'd share is the first time I ever wrote a song was at a camp, and I had these like words that I had only written myself, and I thought that they could only be kind of my lyrics, and that if anyone touched it, the lyrics would have gotten worse. Very self-absorbed songwriter back then, but at camp I sort of shared the song in a kind of music session. Sort of similar to how some Hear Your Song sessions go. And one of my camp friends at the time sort of looked over at me and said, oh, what if you said, this word instead of this word? I can't remember exactly what it was. But that moment I was like, oh, collaboration is good. Like, collaboration makes things better a lot of the time. And once people collaborate musically, lyrically, or otherwise, it creates a richer product. And I think ever since then, I always, and that's why I kind of fell in love with Hear Your Song's mission, is like, obviously it's the kid-driven process and it's all about the songwriter. But once our volunteers come into it, they're so good about just building upon the kid's initial vision. So that's kind of what I love about it.
So how about you, Dan? Who was the very first one that you collaborated with?
Yeah, I think probably also my cousin who made this pillow. We're 3 months apart, and we used to always create like little musicals together for family that we'd perform. Taekwondo the musical was one. Alice and the Reindeer was a holiday special that would often, we were adapting My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the movie, as a musical just in our living room together for a while. But just definitely in terms of having, collaborative vision and writing songs together, we would do all the time and performing them. So that was sort of the root of my writing and performing bug, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think as Jake said, actually, it's interesting because for me as a composer myself in my non-Hear Your Song life, collaboration is something that I've sort of struggled with in terms of sort of relinquishing artistic control. And I do think that we are really, maybe part of that is that in Hear Your Song is we're really passionate and focused on making sure that kids really feel artistically in control of the whole process. But sort of what Jake is describing, the way that when you open yourself up to a collaborator, it doesn't mean that you're giving up your vision. It means that you're potentially opening the vision up to someone who can see it in a different way and let you see something that you couldn't see before. And I'm curious once we start speaking to Faith to learn more about what her experience was like of taking the song that she'd worked on for a while and then sort of opening it up to Jake, who lent some of his musical ideas, because I think we see that on the kid level all the time when kids come in with a really strong vision of what they want to write about, and then in working with a collaborator, say like, oh, I've realized a different direction that I could take this, or something I had never sort of occurred to me before. So that's been always really cool to see. And I can definitely learn from a lot of our kids in terms of opening myself up personally in my musical life to more collaborators as well.
Many of the questions I have here, we need Faith in, so I'm going to bring her in. Hello, Faith. We're going to bring you in now.
Hi.
How are you? Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Oh my goodness.
How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Could you give us a backstory of who you are, Faith, so the audience learns about you?
So I'm 15 years old. I'm from Lee Summit, Missouri. And I've been songwriting for as long as I can remember, even if it was just like picking up a guitar and mindlessly strumming whenever I was little. So music has always been like such a massive part of my life, but I don't think I've ever like really officially made a song like with a track or anything until working with Hear Your Song.
That song you wrote, I heard it 10 times because I knew that within those 10 times, I didn't want to break down. And I broke down every time I heard it. It's a powerful song. Like God really has got you to, I want you to have a miracle that you're looking for in that one. Could you tell me actually your experience with Hear Your Song, what it was like to connect with a Broadway performer?
Oh, yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, so it was that was like a year after. This was more recent, and I think that I started working with them like a year ago on Reaason and stuff, but that was recently, and it was kind of crazy. I've talked with my family about this a lot, like how like sometimes just try to like sweep like the song under the rug and forget about it, and Hear Your Song just keeps like bringing it back, and it's like keeping me motivated and keeping me going. And so that was just an incredible experience. And Erin was just so nice and so encouraging too. And then getting to watch it live, like that was just an amazing experience that I don't think I could have ever thought that I would have.
That's a great song. So whatever inspired you to write that song?
So I've wrestled with my chronic illness, which I have Crohn's disease, since I was really 5, but I was diagnosed when I was had just turned 8. And so I haven't had an easy road with it. I've had one of the more severe cases, and it's been really hard. And songwriting has always kind of been a thing for me. And there's just so many times in my life that I know that I shouldn't be here. I really shouldn't, but God kept me alive for some reason, and he has some purpose for my life, and I don't know what that is. But just like trying to remain hopeful. And then recently, I guess I say recently, it was recent whenever I wrote the song, but in 2020, I spent, I think, 73 days in the hospital straight, from October 12th, I think, to Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, I got diagnosed with mast cell disease. And that was one of the like harder things that I've been through, honestly. Like, being in the hospital that many days in a row, it takes a toll. And so I think I started writing Reaason before I went in the hospital, because it was like months of building before I got admitted and stuff. And then whenever I got home, it was like, I know what I want to say now. And so I just, because I wrote all the lyrics myself, and I had a melody kind of that I had on piano and stuff, but Hear Your Song helped me really develop that melody, make it stronger, make it more, I don't know, more of what I like had in my mind. But yeah, actually, I wrote another song before Reaason that I also want to produce at some point, but that was kind of like the bridge into like deeper songwriting for me. And then obviously, like, my connection and my relationship with the Lord, like that, like, I don't think I would be as hopeful for my life, not with everything I've been through, if it wasn't for like my faith that I've had, that's the faith, the knowing that he's there and he's still good no matter what happens and no matter what comes. And there is a reason for all of us being here, no matter how hard our journey is. So that's kind of the backstory of it.
Yeah, it's that's why when I heard about what you had, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, I like these lyrics. But even if you wait, the days don't dissipate. The bulletproof faith keeps me believing that even if you say wait, there must be a reason.
Yeah.
I always wondered if God would ever give us the reason.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of this side of heaven we may never know, or we might. And I just know there's something bigger. There's something, I don't know what it is, but it keeps me going, knowing there's something that's bigger than I could ever imagine coming. So,
well, Psalm
yeah.
100 gets me through, so try to read that one if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you how did that start? Like, did you just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to write it? This must be a reason why I got up. That's the song, Reaason. Like, how did it come to be?
Yeah.
Where did you get the title from?
Well, like I said, I had already been kind of experimenting with some other music, but I think one day I was like just having, like, whenever you're that low of a place, like health-wise, like you just can't do much. And so I just kind of went downstairs and I was like, the only thing that I really have the energy to do is play the piano. And so I just started playing, and then I wrote a little bit. I think I wrote the chorus first. And then I left it for a while. And then whenever I got out of the hospital, it was kind of the same thing, just recovering and stuff. And I just remember going to my piano and sitting down and just like feeling like so low and yet so hopeful. And just thankful that like I was still alive, because like some of the things that I got told, like the condition that I have could have been so much worse than the like version of it that I have. So like for a while I really thought, I was like, this is the end. This is it. But just being home again, being at my piano, and then it just kind of like, I feel like, really, it sounds so cheesy, but I feel like God gave me the words, and it just like started pouring out of me. And it was like, once I started, I couldn't stop. And then I just typed it all out, and I was like, so that's it. That's the song. That's it. And so then it was just several days of just like tweaking and adjusting things and working with Hear Your Song and stuff. But I don't think I like woke up and was like, I'm gonna write a song today. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. This song's gonna be about this. Like, I didn't even like know what the song was gonna be about when I sat down at the piano. It was just like, I think I'm supposed to write. And so just started playing, started singing, and it just, there it was. So.
Yeah, that when I first heard the song, that part where it says, I wish you would, and then you say that in a cracked voice, I just cried. I just add you to my prayer list. I just pray for you and just pray that God will just suddenly take that away, because you don't deserve it. Like, you're so young, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were times when I was so much in pain. Jake, tell me what you thought of when you heard Faith's song, Reasons, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I'll never forget the session. It was in July last year. Well, we first met Faith in a group session. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of other songwriters, and Faith signed up for kind of a follow-up session to be one-on-one. And it's funny, I'm remembering the story I told earlier of how when I first came in as a songwriter, I was like, I don't want anyone touching my words, and I was scared of collaboration. But Faith came to us with as she said, a fully written song, Reaason. She'd, I guess, written a couple months before, and immediately asked us, she had these lyrics and was like, what do you suggest? Like, well, I have this idea, I have this melody idea, I'm not sure these words here or there. Faith, you can chime in if you remember specifically what lines they were. But I just remember being struck by how much integrity you had as a songwriter to just come in and be vulnerable and say, I'm not sure about this part, like asking for help. And I think that was just really exciting to kind of go in the weeds and figure out what rhymes worked, or if we could figure out if the line scans better this way. So right after that session, I think it was just that one session and the song was done. And we were just so excited to record it and have it written. And luckily Faith is super talented and wrote the piano part herself as well. So we were able to record that quickly. And then once we got her vocals, recorded, Dan and I, when we first heard it for the first time, it was like, wow, like that was such an incredible performance, and I think both of us thought like, oh yeah, this is like a professional recording. Faith must have been in the studio doing this. Faith was like, no, that was just recorded on my phone. And we were like, it sounds so incredible. So yeah, that was a little bit of the journey, and just right from day one, we were like, this is quite a remarkable songwriter.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? What was your reaction when you first heard Reason?
Yeah, I mean, I think that really captures it. And just to return to Faith was talking about getting to work with Erin, Davie, this Broadway star who performed Reason in New York at 54 Below. We did a concert about a month ago, like exactly a month ago. And one of the things she said on stage before she sang the song was like, everyone, I'm about to sing this beautiful song that's resonated so much with me, but like, you need to go right now, as soon as the concert's done, and go to our YouTube channel and hear Faith perform it, because that's the definitive version. And I think what you're responding to as well, Chris, and what we've both responded to in Faith in your performance is that it's so personal, and so you can hear the story. It's almost as if you're like coming up with the words as you sing them, because it's so clear that like your heart and your experience and your vulnerability is sort of in that performance, and that's kind of amazing to be able to sort of be part of giving you the platform to share that, not only like the words and the melody, but also like the performance. And I think that people respond to it so much because they get such a huge, clear sense of like who you are as a person, that if any of those pieces were missing, they might not get the full picture, but it is like the full experience of meeting you and getting to know how you think and how you experience the world.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, Faith, thank you very much for explaining that, Dan. I want to ask you, Faith, those lyrics have everything to do with what you're feeling inside, right? The burning and it's a powerful song, and God had given you the lyrics for that and the melody, and it's just a powerful song. And I like the lyric videos. I'm not too fond of a lot of lyric videos, but in this case, I like your lyric video. It's fantastic. It matches, and I want to know where you came up with that.
Well, so the initial cover, that's like Reaason, and it's black and it has like gold speckles and stuff. My mom made that actually. She does like graphic design and stuff. And then before that, I had said, they had asked me, the Hear Your Song had like, what is there anything you want us to like incorporate in this? And I think all I said was like purple sparkles, something like that. I think it was pretty general, and I was really excited with what they were able to like come up with and pull together. It was really exciting, and I think like it's just an incredible experience to like see something that you like made and you created and you put so much time into, like have it right there, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's right there. It was the first time I saw it. I think I was like, everybody like judges themselves, and so I was like, oh, my voice isn't what I wish it was, and stuff, but everything that Hear Your Song did like was just incredible. And when I heard the track, my favorite part of the track that they made is that last part where it goes like dun dun, and then it like closes off. Like that's like whenever I heard that, I was like, yes, that's incredible. I'm so happy with this. So yeah, that was.
And I think, sorry.
Go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to add that all the instrumentals in the track, which Jake arranged all of, yes, were completely from our sessions with Faith, where she like sort of like verse by verse talked about how she wanted the sound to grow. So even if Jake was sort of producing that around Faith's melody and piano accompaniment, that was also all of that was really driven by her instrumental vision as well. So, and I love that your mom, I just remember that, your mom designed that cover piece. So it was so cool that so much of you and your family was in that as well.
Yeah.
Mind me asking if you all got together and you did some praying before you started your writing or your singing?
Yeah, my family we're so close. I love them all so much. I have an older sister who's 8. She just turned 18, and a brother who's 11. And we're a really close family. And like every night we do like our family devotionals and stuff. And so, yeah, I remember we were a lot of times, like I remember when my parents, I think before I recorded the vocals, I think we all kind of got together, and I think I was nervous because I think I was just coming off of, I had something, like I had just gotten a cold or something. I think I had something where like my voice like dropped out for a while. And so I was really worried. I was like, it's not going to be very good. And I think that I even like dragged out, like I think from the time that they made the track and gave it to me to the time that I like recorded the vocals, it was probably like 2 months.
Wow.
And I remember it might have been 1 or 2 months, but I remember just being like, I need to record it this week. No, I need to record it this week and stuff. And I did so many takes of it too. like, because the first time I recorded it through, I didn't like it because I felt like it felt fake. And that's my thing, is I feel like my voice sounds better if I'm singing from my heart. It sounds different. But yeah, my mom is like, every time she hears the song, she's like, I want to pray with you. I love them all so much, and just helping lead me in like my faith and the next steps that I have in my journey and stuff. So yeah.
I want to ask you what musical artist inspires you.
So there's some Christian ones in there. That's the majority of them are. I love Riley Clemens and Francesca Battistelli and some of those singers. And then I like some of the tracks that Taylor Swift has. I think initially, like, there was like a violin part to something that in our initial session talking about the song, I think I mentioned it to Jake and Dan and was like, I like the way that these violins sound. I don't know if you could like maybe that. I do specifically remember mentioning a song in there by her, but yeah, like I think Riley Clemens and Francesca Battistelli are like my top ones. I love their music. So.
Well, you should see my Spotify list. I got everywhere from all Christian contemporary to opera. It's incredible.
I love Broadway music.
Me too.
So.
Yeah. How about you, Dan? What artist inspires you?
Yeah, my sort of musical background is also in musical theater, so I also listen to a lot of musical theater composers, but also James Taylor is a favorite singer-songwriter of mine, and as well a lot of like R&B artists like Luther Vandross, like Aretha, obviously, sort of from different styles, but really just like incredible storytellers with their music. Story is really what motivates me, both in like musical theater world and in Hear Your Song world, I think. So yeah, musicians who tell great stories.
Have you ever heard of Evan Hollands? Evan and her husband Peter Hollands are singers, and all they do is sing the musical numbers. And Shallow, I know that's from the movie, but still it's a musical.
Yeah.
And how about you, Jake? What artist inspires you?
So like you, Faith, I feel like when I was starting out, I had big Taylor Swift inspiration. Also, I feel like I was mimicking like Ed Sheeran a lot when I was younger. Nowadays, there's this artist who I only discovered like a year and a half ago. Her name is Lizzie McAlpine. And sort of when I first heard her, I was like, oh, I want to write songs like this. And so I feel like ever since then, I've been trying to write songs like her. But sort of also like Faith and Dan, I also love Broadway and musical theater. So that's always like having a story in a song is always what I love, and which is why
I also genuinely think I've only started writing songs myself that are sort of personal to me in the last year. And I think that's because of people like Faith, like the teens and kids I've worked with who have written songs that are really personal to them. And instead of being about other people, like most musical theater songs that I've written are actually about me. I think I've sort of learned that from incredible songwriters like Faith that I've seen do that in real time before me and like have that openness. So yeah, I would definitely say all the songwriters we work with that Hear Your Song are musical inspirations for me as well.
I just thought of another one. I don't know how I forgot this one. I love the singer Livingston. I don't know if you heard of him, but I love his music a lot. So
yeah, I just got into Sarah Slean. That's another good one. Tracy Thorn. Also, there's a few good ones. Evanescence is actually my favorite too, but I do listen to a lot of Christian music as well. Okay, Faith, so do you have any hobbies besides songwriting? What do you enjoy besides music?
My family is very like arts, creative stuff. So I like doing art every now and then. Theater is a big one for me. I crochet a lot. That's kind of a weird one. I'm actually starting like a little mini crochet thing this summer, just with my friends and like selling stuff just to my friends and stuff. And then I'm kind of a poetry nerd. I love Emily Dickinson a lot, so I read a lot of her poetry in free time and stuff. So
I wish there was such a thing as teaching Shakespeare, because I'd teach Hamlet, no problem. There's a lot of messages there, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go clockwise. Dan Rubins, do you know what your vocal range is, and have you taken any training?
My vocal range is probably from, I guess that would be like a A or G, like A flat 2 to like an A, like a B4. So I'm like a tenor 2-ish or 1.5-ish. Yeah, I took voice lessons in college and have not taken them since. I sing in a couple choirs in New York, but I definitely need some more lessons at some point because it's been a while. Yes.
Yeah, my vocal trainer said I was a low baritone to a high falsetto. So I just do the mid-range tenor there. How about you, Jake? What's your vocal range?
I'm very similar to Dan. I feel like A flat 2, G2, all the way up to like a B4, C5 on a good day. But yeah, I actually, before Hear Your Song, I thought I wanted to be an actor, like a musical theater performer. So I did a lot of training in college. And that was the initial plan. I wanted to audition and do the whole Broadway thing. But I think I realized that that path wasn't for me.
So you don't think that you and Dan could get together and create like a group called No Direction or something?
I mean, we've certainly, the two of us have talked about writing a show many times.
Yeah, we've actually talked about writing a two-man show about a year in the life of a nonprofit. It's like
That's awesome. Yeah, that would work. I could see that.
I'd watch it.
Great. Okay, we have 2 audience members. That's all we need.
We're being held accountable. We have to do it.
How about you, Faye? What do you know what your vocal range is?
I don't know like specific notes. I just know I'm a mezzo soprano.
Soprano's good, but just be a mezzo soprano. That's awesome, Faith. Yeah, you should all three get together and create like a group.
We've done a number of songs with a girl named Morgan who's 12, almost 13, I think, who's expressed an interest in having a world tour where the Hear Your Song volunteers sing back up on her tour as she performs around the world. So we're open.
It was like Morgan and the Peeps. Was that it?
Yeah, Morgan and her Peeps. Yeah.
That's funny.
I feel like that's another like really cool thing with Hear Your Song, the like peer songwriting group that you guys have like put together and stuff. So the most recent one we did a Zoom call, and it was just me and her name is Charlotte. She wrote Heartbreaking Healing. And so we actually exchanged numbers, and we've been like texting and are talking about writing a song together and stuff. And so it's just really fun to connect. And then she has the same condition that I have. And so just having somebody like to be able to like talk with songwriting wise, health wise, like I think it's really cool to not only like songwrite with incredible like volunteers and but to also get to meet other kids and stuff who have the same passions and kind of stuff, and to be able to connect with them on a personal level too. So
yeah, Faith, you're an inspiration. That could be a ministry to help other children who are like you and others in other sort of disabilities and illnesses, and just be like, I don't want to say point man, point girl, I guess you call it. Like be like that. That's fantastic. Like it all started with listening to your song Reaason, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is a great song. Okay, yeah, like I want to play the song.
Where did that guide before I fall apart. I know you have the words to say to calm the raging storm inside me. I know that you could stop the pain, and honestly I wish you would. But even if you wait, the waves don't dissipate. That bulletproof faith keeps me believing that even if you say wait, there must be a reason. Round after round, I still am willing to fight. 'Cause adding fire only makes the dynamite burn bright. So though I feel alone, lost amidst the hurricane, I'm leaning in to who you are and every promise that you made. I know you have the words to say to calm the raging storm inside me. I know that you could stop the pain, and honestly I wish you would. But even if you wait, the waves don't dissipate. That bulletproof faith keeps me believing that even if you say wait, there must be a reason. There's a reason, there's a reason the sun doesn't shine on you. There's a reason through the fire I'm still here. All these broken memories, I'm making a perfect masterpiece. Your perfect masterpiece. So though you have the words to say to calm the raging storm inside me, though you could stop all the pain, and honestly I wish you would. Even if you wait, the waves don't dissipate. That bulletproof faith keeps me believing that even if you say wait, even if you say wait, there must be a reason.
That was great. I want to ask you about those lyrics, Faith. But even if you wait, the days don't dissipate. The bulletproof faith keeps me believing. Where did those are great lyrics. How long did it take you to come up with that?
I mean, like I said, just like, I think it was just like sat down at the piano and I just wrote, and then I'm not sure if I ever really tweaked those lyrics, at least there. I don't know if I changed anything in the chorus. I know there were a few lines in the verses that I just tweaked a little bit, but I think other than that, just those were just raw emotions that just poured out of me in the form of words.
So what's this thing with the zebras on your wall? Is that your favorite animal?
Oh, yeah. This is like our music room in my house. And our mom, like I said, she's a designer. And so, yeah, the zebra wallpaper was a design statement. And, you know, I love them. They're very bright and cheery. And I like the yellow because very light.
I like it. Well, Dan, you better make sure that your cousin makes her a pillow too.
Yeah.
And
We're
release
hopefully
it.
gonna start distributing them. Yeah.
I'll buy one. Definitely. I love it. Yes. And so where do you see the future of Hear Your Song?
Oh, well, we are really excited to be expanding to lots of new partnerships, both in person and virtual this coming year. We've just started our first international partnerships with Sickle Cell Society in London and a camp program in Ireland. So we're really excited to hopefully start exploring some like multilingual partnerships in the coming years. And really, as Faith alluded to, building community amongst the kids and teens who are writing songs, I think is kind of my number one priority. I think having conversations like Faith and Charlotte had a week ago is really what I feel like the organization has grown to be most powerfully about, because I think it's not just about one song, one time. As Faith said, we keep returning to her and saying, remember you wrote the song? Like, here's another thing we'd love for you to be part of. Because we really want, whether it's someone like Faith who is a true, brilliant, talented songwriter and will grow up to be continue to be an extraordinary songwriter who keeps building her talents and skills, or whether someone is just using song for one process through which they get to explore their cat or their pasta or their family or their medical journey. We want to continue to build a community where they feel like they're people who have shared experiences and shared interests, and that people are really listening to them and celebrating them. So I want to keep making sure that people are getting to know each other too, and feel like they're part of a real community.
Yeah. So I when I heard your song Faith Reasons and I heard the other songs on there, people are just writing about just things like regular things. So I thought, you know what? I think I started writing a song called Don't Get a Cat because my cat is always a nuisance sometimes. So I'll have to share that with you. So don't get a cat.
I love cats. I can't have them because I'm allergic to them. They've been my favorite animal since forever. I went to a friend's house the other day, and the cat fell asleep on me, and I was in heaven. I was like, I love you. You are the... I love cats. I would have a million if I could. I've always said if I could get a cat, I would get 2 rag dolls, and I would name them Melody and Harmony.
Yeah, she's British short hair. She's got a white tuft. She'll be 8 on July 15th. But yes, that's what. Edit that last part up. Okay, not the cat part. I'll keep that one. With Hear Your Song, do you have kids getting too old that they leave and new ones come in? Is that how it works too?
Yeah, so we have we've seen sort of the same sort of growth in our programs, and one of the things that's been most fulfilling and something we thought wouldn't happen for a while but has already taken place is we've had kids who wrote songs in their senior year of high school and then have come back as college volunteers. So we've had 2 teens, Alex and Will, who wrote songs with us last spring, who are now leading songwriting sessions with younger kids. And that's like the most miraculous experience because they're both that they're choosing to give back through Hear Your Song when they're so talented and could find so many different outlets for their talents, and also that they have felt that the impact on their lives was such that they want to stay connected to the community and see that impact on other people. And certainly Faith, even at age 15, is already sort of mentoring younger kids already. And so that's really, I can imagine Faith, no pressure, but sort of going off and starting your own Hear Your Song communities 4 or 5 years down the road.
You can get a whole bunch of kids together and say, "We Are the World," but do like We Are the World for nowadays. The one that Michael Jackson did, you can do another one, We Are the World. Do something like that. We are Hear Your Song. You got to hear it now. But how about you, Jake? I know that you have to go pretty soon, but I want to ask you, like, where did you want to see yourself in 5 years from now?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I think everything that Dan said. I mean, I've always wanted just more and more growth, more and more kids getting the chance to have the experience of getting to work with our incredible volunteers. I also am really hoping that we get more undergraduate leaders to make chapters of Hear Your Song, because I think that's been the best way of engaging kind of smaller communities is at these chapters, and that was kind of a big part of my position when I was when I was programs fellow, to try to spread the word about Hear Your Song, and so I'm hopeful that it'll just be more and more chapters, and then more chapters comes with more followers, and it just becomes an exponential growth. And I'm also hoping that more and more there will be collaborations more between songwriters, and I think this peer songwriting group is a really awesome step forward in that. It would be really cool if one day there's a whole song written, recorded, and produced all by Hear Your Song songwriters. I think that would be the ultimate goal down the road.
What do you feel that many of them that come out of Hear Your Song would be actually singer-songwriters, famous with albums, releases, singing, and they started at Hear Your Song? Like, for instance, Britney Spears started in the Mickey Mouse Club, and Christina Aguilera were both in the same Mickey Mouse Club. So you recognize them as being part of Mickey Mouse Club. So you think they'll be singer-songwriters one day who have albums, girls are flocking to them, whatever, but they still Hear Your Song.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're sort of existing in both worlds at once, where we have people who are working with us who absolutely think will go on to incredible musical careers, and then we also have people who that's not their goals. I think, I mean, Jake is someone as an example of an incredible musician and songwriter who is sort of going into the medical field, and will sort of carry all of that music with him inside in other ways. So I think we are, just like our process is totally kid-driven, I think our hopes for the kids that we work with are totally kid-driven. So if you want to go on to a musical career and pursue that, we'll 100% support you and cheer you on. And if you want to go in a totally different direction, we'll cheer you on any way you want to go. And same for any kid or teen that we work with.
Why not? You got the inspiration, and you got the emotion, you got the talent for songwriting. But are you, Jake, going to be like a singing doctor or something? Scalpel, thank you, Nurse Chapel.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. No, I mean, I sort of, when I initially made the pivot, I made it a point to talk to many physicians who I sort of did my research, and I saw that kept music a part of their lives. And I was very encouraged to see that many of them have. And whether it be me actually singing or me just, being like a partner of Hear Your Song and just being an ambassador, I think that would be the best way to incorporate, my love for music and singing into my career. But certainly if in med school, there's a bunch of people who want to put on a production of Legally Blonde, like, I'm there, I'm doing it. So
yeah, Dear Evan Hansen, maybe. Or make a entirely brand new musical called The Doctors, and
right,
be like sopranos or nurses, tenors, who's you and others, and just that would be interesting. Yeah, and Faith, if you wanted to be like a soprano, mezzo soprano, when you get older, you wanted to release albums, more power to you. Just your voice is talent from God, and just use that to bless Him and worship Him. And I found, everyone, that God is good all the time, and I know that every time you wake up in the morning, to so many blessings already. Like you've woken up in the morning, that's a blessing right there. And now we haven't gotten over the pandemic just yet, but we're actually coming out now to perform, to sing. We've had many who learned how to sing during the pandemic during the quarantine, and they've gone on to better things. And it was the pandemic that people had used, even though the other side, we've lost people, but others have used it to their advantage, and now singers, songwriters, and it's fantastic. And so I'm just glad that we were able to get you and Jake on, Dan, and get Faith on as well to talk about her song. So where do you go from here, Faith? What's the second song you were mentioning that you wanted to do? Is there a title to that one yet?
That one's called Holding On. So That's the next one. So,
Have you,
yeah.
have you written it yet?
Yeah.
Do you put lyrics to it and music already?
Yeah, I do. I have everything. I just haven't gotten to have a session with the Hear Your Song people about it yet.
Why did you choose those instruments for that song?
I don't know. I think I just wanted it to sound like very classic, like very like I didn't want it to be overdone or anything. Not like a lot of like intense instruments, maybe just more of the like elegant ones. So I think that was just kind of I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Did you have to sit with the person and say, okay, we're going to put the pianos in there now? So you had to talk in amongst, no?
No. I think we talked about like, oh, I'd like these to be added in like halfway or something. And they just took what I said and they ran with it and they made it better than I could have ever imagined. So
yeah, well, I mean, you were working with the best.
I mean, yeah, whatever I could play. I mean, I play some piano, ukulele, and then some guitar. So I would probably just use whatever I could scratch up on those. So
or the banjo. I mean, you could probably use the banjo.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now the instruments that Dan, you and Jake play. What's your favorite instrument to play?
Well, I just play piano. My dream instrument to learn to play is the oboe, because when I compose vocal music, I always like to do it on an oboe sound because I love the sound of that and like I feel like it's very singing sound. But yeah, I just play piano. I need to learn some more.
How about you, Jake?
I am most proficient in piano and guitar. I played clarinet once upon a time, but I think it has left my body. But I also do a lot of production stuff using like Logic Pro, which is a program. And so I sort of have this little keyboard that connects to my computer and I can use the keyboard to play multiple sounds. And that's sort of how I added the strings and everything to Faith's song is through that. And that was a really cool experience because I love kind of orchestrating music using that because I can't play all the instruments, but the kind of keyboard can emulate a lot. And doing that with Faith's song was maybe one of the easiest things to do because her lyrics speak for themselves, and the way she wrote the song it was so easy to feel where, and obviously since she told us where she wanted it, to kind of feel like how intense the strings were here versus how intense they were there. So that was a really fun experience. She wanted the like kind of violins to come in like halfway through the song, and then for it to build up to a certain point and then to cut out, after I forget what the exact lyric was, but again, it felt very natural. And I think that's a testament to Faith as a musician, kind of knowing where instruments should come in and out. We certainly have had songwriters who are, were like, I want, a trumpet, a clarinet, and a banjo, and for the whole song. And regardless of what we think, works, if they request it, it's going to be in it. And I think that's what's amazing about it, is that
it will work.
And yes, and it's so emblematically the songwriter. Like if you listen to a song with those three instruments, it's like, oh, no one else could have made that song other than person X.
So what about Faith, your new song, Holding On? What kind of instruments do you have for that one, or that you wish you could have? The same ones you had for Reasons, or are they totally different?
It's cutting out really bad. I can't.
Oh.
I missed like the last half of what Jake said, and then.
Oh, okay. Jake, you want to repeat what you said?
Oh, no. I heard most of it, so it's good.
Yeah. So I asked you a question about your new song, Holding On. Like, what kind of instruments do you have for that one?
Probably just the same, really just simple, very basic, lots of strings. I love strings. I would love to play violin. I can't, but I would love to. That would be very fun.
Yeah, it's quite a hard instrument to play, but I love to. And do you have a Mount Everest song, like a song that's that you want to be able to sing, but you just can't do it? Like mine is Nessun Dorma. If I can sing that, I can sing
Yeah,
anything.
me too.
But I'm not sure. I don't know. I usually just sing songs that I know I can sing. So my dream role is Anastasia in Anastasia the musical. That's like my favorite thing ever. So just I don't really have like one that I've always wanted to like be able to sing perfectly or anything.
A quick way to sing a song now, it takes me only like 3 hours to sing, and listening to your song 10 times, I learned it. So I might even do a cover version of that one point. You never know. That's a great song. Yes. So are you, Dan or Jake, are you currently helping another child write another song? Like who are you helping at this point?
Yeah, so we have we have lots of songs in progress. We've been working lately with the Sickle Cell Society in London, I mentioned earlier. We have an ongoing partnership with Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx. We have a bunch of songs coming out of that partnership. We have some songs with the Immune Deficiency Foundation. And then some of my colleagues and other volunteers and I are going on Wednesday to Double H Ranch Camp, where we're going to be working with a dozen kids there. So yeah, we have maybe 30 songs in progress or something like that. So there's one about frogs, our first song about frogs coming out. So that's an important one. And then some kids have written incredible songs about their medical experience. We have a beautiful song about being a sickle cell advocate coming out of that partnership. So really, yeah, excited for lots of new ones. As you mentioned, the food song earlier is a great one that recently was released. So yeah, many songs on the horizon, and they're all, for anyone watching, they're all available on our YouTube channel or visiting our website, hearyoursong.org. So hope people will check them out.
Why don't you have you? I don't know if I remember if I asked you if you guys have written a song about your experience. I don't know. Like Dan, have you written a song, or Jake, have you written a song relating to your experience? Like,
Our experience.
I want the doctor so badly.
I mean, I certainly wrote, when I was younger, would write songs about being an angsty teen and, that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the power of songwriting is that it's just a great way of processing feelings and understanding. I feel like I've written, I feel like there's one song that I have been writing for like 2 years about, feelings that I'm constantly working through, and it's fun to kind of always keep revisiting it and feeling, I could articulate this better. So short answer, yes, write songs about my experience all the time.
How about you, Dan? You have anything?
Yeah, as I said earlier, that's sort of something that I've started doing in the last year or so. More, most of my writing before that had been sort of like musical theater for characters rather than for me. I'm sure there was a lot of me feelings in some of those characters. But yeah, I think that's something that I've been exploring more, sort of, as I said, sort of being exposed to lots of different things that you can write about that I never really thought about until met an 8-year-old who said, like, we're going to write about pasta. I'm like, wow, that's a great idea for a song. Yeah.
You could write about broccoli.
Yeah.
I do broccoli very much. How about you, Faith? What songwriting skills have you gained from this experience?
I'm not, so many. I don't know if I can like think of one specifically. I feel like there's like so many. I don't know if I can like pinpoint just one. Maybe just like having more of an open mind and I don't know, just like learning like different skills that so many different people have that I've met, even like Charlotte and stuff, texting her, and I don't know, I've learned so much just in general. So
That's awesome. Do you aspire to be like an opera singer where you're just singing in front? Like Amira Willighagen, my favorite Dutch singer. She sang Nessun Dorma at 9 years old, for heaven's sakes. Is that something you would aspire to be as an opera singer, mezzo soprano, or you just want to?
No,
No, wow, okay.
I'd like to be like probably more musical theater kind of stuff,
Nice.
not quite as much opera. Yeah, just singing about experiences, my own songs I've written and stuff. Just, I would love to continue to work with Hear Your Song and keep doing what I've been doing. So
Yeah, you want to be like the next Barrett Wilbert Weed musician. She's actually she's on Broadway right now. So because I want this to go out into the world and people can actually see this. Oh, he's leaving now. I think he left.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back to the 3 now.
Okay.
Faith, has songwriting given you a lot of confidence?
Yeah, definitely. I think just being able to, I always tell people like songwriting is how I pray, how I talk to God. So yeah, I think just having a unique way to express myself is really important to me. I don't really know how to put it into words otherwise, but sometimes it's easier to express if it's words and a melody. So
What's the amount of people that you've performed in front of? Like, this amount of people make you more nervous? Like, if you could perform this song in front of 1,000 people, for instance.
I mean, I think I could if, yeah, probably. I haven't really, I think like my family, Hear Your Song, that's it. I mean, at least of my own songs. Like I've done shows, obviously, that I've sang in front of people, but not my own songs. So not more than at least like 10 people, maybe. So.
But just be yourself, follow the Lord, and let the Lord lead. Because you're fantastic, and you're going to be a wonderful, amazing songwriter. You're going to release albums. You're going to be excellent. How about you, Dan? Where do you find the kids and the children? Do they come to you? How do you find them?
Yeah, so we meet kids both through partnerships with children's hospitals, through camp programs like where we met Faith, through diagnosis-specific organizations like the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, Mito Action, the Sickle Cell Society, and then also now I'm starting to get more through word of mouth. Talking to parents who then share with other parents in their community. So we're really excited to sort of spread the word and reach as many people as we can. And all of our programs, I should have mentioned earlier on, are free of charge for all the kids and families who are participating, because it's really important to us to make sure that we can offer this to anyone and sort of not have barriers to like your process ends here, but really be like, we'll follow you wherever you want to take this.
How do you keep track of the numbers?
The number of kids and songs.
Yeah.
We have a number of databases that we're trying to sort of, it's a good question. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a number of team members starting up. So we're about to sort of streamline our number keeping. But we have a number of databases of all the songs. And we also have our YouTube channel is a pretty up-to-date record of sort of everything in the last 2 years. And we try to stay as in touch with all of the families as we can throughout the year and invite kids and teens to participate in lots of different ways.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is, but it's very rewarding. Pretty much every day I get to have an experience like this where I get to sort of be face to face with family or a songwriter or a partner organization and really recognize sort of there's a lot of behind the scenes work, but it is all in service of something that's really valuable.
And Jake was amazing, and I really appreciate you taking the time, especially you, Faith, taking the time to join us on the podcast. And I really wish you great success. You just live one day at a time and just just keep moving on, keep going. It's just incredible. You're very inspirational. And Dan, I hope I didn't take too much of your time, actually.
No, absolutely not.
I really appreciate this. Was awesome. Thank you, everyone. I know you
Yes.
look hungry. You're probably going to McDonald's or something. And you're going to go to a buffet somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so why don't we end it here?
Okay.
And sharing.
Well, thank you so much, Chris.
Yes.
You're very welcome,
thank
Dan.
you.
Thank you, Faith. I really appreciate it. So you guys just have a wonderful, wonderful week. And thank you
Wonderful.
very much for.
So what do we just hit leave studio?
Yeah, just leave the studio. Wait, not yet. Let me end it. Okay, wave. See you guys.